Defense Minister sends top brass to Northwest. Bandits on notice. Residents demand urgent government help as floods devastate Yobe communities. Edo reports Mpox outbreak. 8 suspected cholera cases. And on the international front, hostage families demand strike and deal for Gaza release. A very good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. And now to the news in detail. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, has ordered the Chief of Defense Staff and other top military officials to relocate to Sokoto as part of a renewed federal government offensive against banditry, kidnapping and terrorism in the Northwest. A statement from the Ministry of Defense emphasized that this move highlights the government's unwavering commitment to restoring peace in the region. Matawalle and the service chiefs, led by the Chief of Defense Staff, will oversee operations to eliminate notorious bandit leader Bello Turji and his gang. Matawalle expressed deep concern over the activities of terrorists in Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina and Kebbi states and assured the people that security forces will leave no stone unturned in flushing out the bandits. He urged residents to remain vigilant and cooperate with the military, affirming the government's resolve to safeguard lives and property across the Northwest. And amid escalating insecurity in Sokoto State, especially in Sabon Birni local government area, the Gobir Development Association has disclosed that the community has paid over 160 billion naira in ransoms as levies to bandits. In a statement signed by the group's chairman Idris Al-Hassan Gatawa and secretary Professor Aliu Gobir, it was also revealed that over 2 billion naira has been lost to armed bandits. The group condemned the recent killing of their district head, Muhammad Bawa, who was abducted and murdered by bandits after traveling along the Sabon Birni Sokoto road. They urged the government to take immediate action to end the killings, kidnappings, displacement and livestock rustling plaguing the region. And joining us now via telephone is Daily Trust Regional Editor Ishao Adamu to give details on this issue. Good evening, Ishao. Welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. 160 billion naira as total levies paid to bandits in the period under review. Can you give us more details as to what these members of this association, gave during the breakdown of these developments?
Of course, the figure they have given may surprise some people, especially those that are not familiar with the trend. But we that we are on ground, we know the situation, and we are not surprised to hear this. Several people were abducted in that axis, and many of them have paid their ransom to the bandits. Some were still in captivity. Some were killed. So it's something that the people in that axis are very, very much familiar with the situation. There have been attacks on several occasions. Let me give you an example of Zamfara State, which also suffered a lot of a series of attacks. In Kauranamoda alone, about 284 people were kidnapped in just 3 months. In Plain Isa, 96 people were abducted and they paid 20 million ransom to rescue them. In Balikawa, 15 people were abducted, they paid 5 million. Dogon Kadi, 66 people abducted, they paid 60 million. Efa, 46 people abducted and they paid 7 million. Jimrawa, 36 people and they paid 30 million. Baranawa, 25 people and they paid 12 million. So you see, this is something that many people are familiar with. You either pay the ransom and rescue your relatives, or be killed by the bandits. This is the situation. They sack several people, several villages. They kidnap so many people. They kill several people. Within that period under review, they killed 31 people in just 4 villages: Dain Isa, Balitawa, Kiatawa, Barnawa. So this is the situation. It's something that people are even become conversant with the situation.
All right. Ishao, does it surprise you that these amounts of monies being mentioned are coming from Nigerians who, to a large extent, would be described as peasants, or to some extent, those who stay in the rural communities, and they are paying these amounts of monies, over 200 million in an instance? I mean, you mentioned the abduction of around 282 people. Does this surprise you? And what are residents in these communities saying with regards to how they source these funds to pay ransoms, and also government intervention to aid them in recovering their loved ones from the bandits den?
This area, especially Zamfara and part of Sokoto, they are into local mining. And this mining and banditry are so much connected. These bandits, they know that the locals go into mining. So whoever gets something, they know. Who doesn't get, they know. So if they know that somebody has gotten something that is going to attract or generate a lot of money, they will quickly either kidnap him or his relatives, and they will force him to sell that thing that you have gotten to market and get the money for them. This is the situation. They have their cattle which they are rearing. You either sell your cattle or have your relation be killed. Recently, Turji has placed 50 million ransom on Moriki village, the community, because his cows, numbering about 300, were intercepted by military personnel. He said the community must have paid him back, or he will come and destroy the area. That is the situation. And the people have started gathering that money because they have no option than to pay.
Well, now we're talking on the heels of a directive that was given by the Minister of State for Defense, talking about Bello Masawale, and talking about the Nigerian military echelon going to Sokoto State in order to stage an offensive against the likes of Bello Turji and also his assailants. What does this bring to the minds of these residents? Does it bring some form of succor that maybe perhaps finally the government is awakening to a lot of their plight and to some of their frustrations?
This is what many residents are saying. In fact, if you can recall, several months back, people are agitating that the government should show a sign of commitment to this fight of against banditry, because they wanted government to act, not a pronouncement or what have you. So now that the minister and the service chiefs are relocating to Sokoto, people are agitating. Yes, probably government is now ready to face this banditry. One of such people that I have discussed with was saying if he is a president, he will relocate to Sokoto for 3 days, and he will ensure that among his entourage these service chiefs, so that when they come, he will discuss with them and the traditional rulers of the affected area, and he will give a marching order that within 3 days, he wanted these bandit leaders dead or alive. Tell me, if a president can give such kind of marching orders, what do you expect from the service chiefs? All right. Obviously, commitment and the result.
All right, Isho, a final one before we let you go. In your opinion, and also from your conversation with residents of these communities, would you say that the war against banditry has now taken over the war against terrorism in the Northeast, as we've seen the military get overwhelmed with over the course of the last 1 decade?
Yes, certainly. So now people are begin to understand or begin to believe that yes, government is now ready for the fight.
Isha Adamu, thank you so much for your contributions, especially as it relates to the developments across the Northwest. Definitely we'll be touching base with you subsequently as more events develop. Do have a good evening.
Thank you.
And also on Thursday night, operatives from the Plateau State Police Command killed a suspected armed robber during a shootout in Bokos local government area. The incident was disclosed by Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi in a statement signed by Plateau State Police Command spokesperson Alfred Alabo. According to the statement, the patrol team encountered a roadblock set up by the suspects while en route to Bokos local government. When the hoodlums opened fire on the officers, a gun battle ensued, resulting in the neutralization of one suspect. The others fled into the forest. The divisional police officer of Bokos visited the scene and the body was taken to the Bokos public morgue. Plateau State Commissioner of Police Olugbemiga Additional assured residents that the command is dedicated to their safety and security. He also urged the public to remain vigilant and cooperate with law enforcement as investigations continue, with efforts underway to apprehend the suspects who escaped. An acting governor of Oyo State, Bayo Lawal, has promised that perpetrators of the gruesome murder of about 10 residents in the Bekpakan village in the Shaki West local government area of the state would be apprehended and made to face the full wrath of the law. The acting governor gave this assurance in Shaki when he led top government functionaries on an assessment tour of the community, which was attacked by yet to be identified assailants. Take a look.
Tuesday's attack on inhabitants of Bekpakan village in the Shaki West local government area of Oyo State by yet to be identified gunmen still remains fresh in the minds of these residents who lost 10 loved ones and had their properties destroyed. Bekpakan is mainly an agrarian community, but the peace which previously existed between Nigerians here, mainly from Yoruba and Fulani extractions, fizzled out following the deadly attacks. It is for this reason that the acting governor of Oyo State and senior government officials are in the community to broker peace and to see firsthand the level of damage inflicted on members of the community.
We are not looking for this type of incident. So it caught us, by surprise, and we deem it fit to pay a visit to these people, to condole with them and give assurances that things of this nature must never happen again. Only yesterday, the Commissioner of Police paid a visit to assess the situation, and we have seen that actually some people invaded this hamlet and carry out this dastardly action. Investigations are ongoing.
Due to the sensitive nature of the matter, many residents declined speaking with newsmen, but council representing Ward 4 in the community speaks on the matter.
Around 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday, so I heard the bad news that those of our people living here was assassinated by unknown people. So we are here just to commiserate with them and to pay them a condolence visit.
Another resident who blamed the attack on lack of peaceful existence, poor leadership structure among various ethnic groups in the community, urging government to put in place mechanisms to prevent the occurrence of the dastardly attack. As tears continue to flow among victims who had lost their loved ones in these gruesome attacks, authorities here have been advised to ensure they unmask the perpetrators of this heinous act and bring justice to the bereaved, even as residents continue to count the losses.
And residents of Nangere and Cusco local governments are urgently pleading with the federal government to intervene after a devastating flood swept through their communities, destroying farmlands, ruining crops and toppling houses. Reports indicate that the floods have claimed over 170,000 lives and displaced thousands, leaving the affected areas in dire need of assistance. Trust TV's Beatrice Kuruti visited these ravaged communities and provides a first-hand account of the crisis.
In Lamba village of Nangere community, farmlands have turned into fields of water and houses are submerged. The devastating flood has forced locals to evacuate, losing lives, properties, and livestock. The displaced residents were given temporary shelter at a primary school and government quarters, but for them, once the water dries up, there is no home to return to. It happened at night. The water entered our houses. We were lucky we didn't drown. Right before our eyes, our house went down into the water. The flood killed a young girl. There was no choice. We had to leave. We lost everything.
Gaje ya fi nawa a wurin da muke. Yanzu mun yi gudun hijira ma wasun suna kudu.
We are begging the government to help us because we don't have a place to stay after the flood. We lost everything, including our farms. It means no food for us. Nangere community is linked to other local councils like Jakusko, Bade, Karasua, and Gashua. The federal road that connects this part of Yobe State has collapsed, affecting economic and agricultural activities.
Both agricultural produce in the whole of this state, I think it's one of the most recognized community in terms of production of both animals, dairy, and crop production. All these vegetables, tomatoes, and the rest, they used to produce them here, and you can see. Yes, and also the fishing activities. It's a very economic community in the whole state. So we are calling on government to urgently intervene.
The communities revealed that it's been 6 years they have experienced such disaster, and with the waters back with no anticipation, it could be difficult to recover what the flood took away from them. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Bitrus Kuruti there with a report on the flooding which has ravaged 170 lives, according to official figures. Still on the flood, Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has vowed to relocate victims of a recent flood disaster in Gumi local government area of the state from flood-prone areas, just as he has donated 100 million naira and foodstuffs worth millions of naira to victims. The governor made the disclosure when he paid an on-the-spot assessment tour to the communities ravaged by flooding in the local government. Lawal added that he had instructed the relevant ministries and agencies to commence work against future occurrences of such disasters in the local government. The governor, who expressed deep concern about the damages caused by the flooding, said a team of engineers had already surveyed the areas to find a lasting solution. He said he was in Gumi local government to condole the families that have lost their loved ones in the disaster. Several communities in Gumi local government were submerged following heavy rainfalls, thereby destroying dozens of houses and washing away several farmlands. And following NIMET's flood alert warnings, the Delta State government has initiated measures to prevent flooding. Efforts include opening up waterways, channels and canals such as the Anwai River, which channels floodwaters from Asaba to the River Niger. This also aims to protect the Camp 74 fish farm from flooding. The Commissioner for Environment, Ejiro Jamani, led a team that sealed a nightclub for improper wastewater disposal and desilted drains in Asaba. Additionally, occupants at the foot of the Kola flyover have been evacuated due to security concerns.
Soko, Kano East, now we're here in mission, trying to clear every water channels. The Delta is in floodplain. The place is seated, you can see. Today we are here. You connected your waste, your toilet waste, your kitchen waste into the public drain. Like I told you before, we've told Deltans that it's not going to be business as usual when you constitute nuisance. Anyone that constitutes environmental nuisance will face the full wrath of the law.
And drivers and commuters on the Shedam Langtang Road are frustrated as a bridge in Kufai community, Shendam local government area of Plateau State, has remained collapsed for 2 years. Since the bridge's collapse in 2022, no reconstruction efforts have been made, worsening the daily struggles for drivers and passengers. Trust TV's Ado Musa brings details.
For nearly 2 years, a collapsed bridge in Kufai community, Shandon local government area of Plateau State, has left motorists, motorcyclists and passers-by struggling, especially during the rainy season. Drivers report that They are forced to pay locals 5,000 naira to push their vehicles across the damaged bridge, severely impacting their businesses. This bridge collapsed since 2022. I ply the road, but anytime I get to this point, it is never an easy thing for us and other people using other means of transportation to cross the other side of the road. The collapse of the bridge has been very challenging for those of us who use it on a daily basis. We have complained severally, but nothing has been done about it. We are calling on the state and federal government to come to our aid. I am a resident of this village and we are suffering from the collapse of this bridge. This is the only major road around this area. It is only the government can do something about it. We are pleading with the government to help us reconstruct the bridge. Residents of Kufai community in Plateau State report that recent heavy rain has made the road nearly impossible for motorists and commuters due to the ongoing absence of a functional bridge. The situation continues to disrupt daily life and travel in the area. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Edo State government has confirmed 1 case of mpox and 8 suspected cases of cholera in the state. Dr. Ojefo Stevenson, the state's director of public health, disclosed this on Saturday, emphasizing that the government has been proactive in raising public awareness and urging people to report symptoms to designated health facilities. Since January, the state has identified 11 suspected mpox cases, with 8 confirmed. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, reported that children aged 0 to 5 years are the most affected by the mpox outbreak, with 48 confirmed cases recorded nationwide in 2024. Elsewhere, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adilabu, has announced the federal government's plan to release $800 million for the construction of substations and distribution lines under the Presidential Power Initiative. This was revealed in a statement issued by the ministry on Sunday. According to the statement, the minister disclosed this during a facility tour of the TBEA Southern Power Transmission and Distribution Industry in Beijing, China. The minister stated that the funds will be allocated for the construction of substations for Lot 2 and stop substations and distribution lines for Lot 3, with $400 million designated for each. Lot 2 covers the franchise area of Benin, Port Harcourt and Enugu distribution companies, while Lot 3 covers the franchise areas of Abuja, Kaduna, Jos and Kano Discos. The minister was in China to attend the China-Africa Cooperation Summit. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Theft of farm produce rise in Benue amid cost of living crisis. This and of course more stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the News Hour on Trust Television. Here's a recap of our top stories again. Defense Minister sends top brass to Northwest, bandits on notice. And residents demand urgent government help as floods devastate Yobe communities. And to other stories now, former Kano State Governor and ex-Minister of Education Ibrahim Shekaro has endorsed the federal government's age restriction policy for students seeking admission into tertiary institutions. Shekaro argued that the current school structure aligns with students' developmental stages. He expressed these views during an appearance on Trust TV's 30 Minutes with Manir Ali.
Just take for example, if we go back to this 18-year thing, probably all the past years, not much was done to insist. Now that the federal government has come back to this policy, I expect the Federal Ministry of Education, through all its agencies, will put in place, put their feet down. No university, no public university or private university is allowed to admit anybody at the age of less than 18. So you see, it all depends on the situation coming from the policy makers.
There you have it. Stick around for the full episode of the program coming live on Monday on Trust TV by 7:30 p.m. And moving on now, the Kebbi State Independent Electoral Commission, KESIEC, has declared the All Progressives Congress (APC) as the winner of all 21 council seats in the local government election held on Saturday. Addressing journalists at the KESIEC Secretariat in Birnin Kebbi on Sunday, KESIEC Chairman Aliyu Muhammad Mira confirmed that the APC secured all chairmanship and councillorship seats across the 21 local government areas. The People's Democratic Party did not participate in the election, alleging that the KESIEC chairman and other executives were members of the APC. Mira also mentioned that the election was conducted peacefully and in line with state electoral laws and guidelines. Elsewhere, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has vowed to prevent any takeover of the PDP structure in Rivers State, threatening political backlash against any PDP governor who interferes. The former Rivers governor's warning comes after PDP governors in a meeting on August 23rd in Taraba State expressed support for the current governor, Siminalayi Fubara, amidst the party's ongoing crisis in Rivers. At the PDP State Congress in Port Harcourt, Wike told the governors to stay out of Rivers PDP affairs, underscoring the growing rift between him and his successor. The event saw attendance from several federal and state lawmakers, former council chairmen, and party loyalists. And also, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule, who also serves as the chairman of the North Central Governors Forum, has called for the intervention of APC National Chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and the National Working Committee to resolve the ongoing crisis within the Benue State chapter of the All Progressives Congress. In a statement signed by his senior special assistant on media, Ali Abari, and obtained by Daily Trust in Lafia, Governor Sule detailed his visit to the APC National Secretariat in Abuja. The visit aimed to encourage Dr. Ganduje and the NWC to address the persistent issues plaguing the Benue APC chapter. Sule, in his capacity as chairman of the APC Governors Forum for the zone, emphasized the necessity of seeking intervention from the party's leadership to resolve the crisis. Traders in Jos, the Plateau State capital, have voiced their reactions to the federal government's directive urging them to reduce market prices. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has issued a one-month moratorium for traders and other market stakeholders to bring down the cost of goods. Ado Musa visited Kaswandari, a section of Yankwali market, to gather the traders' perspectives on this development. Here's the report.
The relentless rise in the prices of goods and services in Nigeria has become a major concern, with citizens continually expressing their frustration. In response, the newly appointed Executive Vice Chairman of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Mr. Tunji Bello, announced on Friday that the Commission will begin enforcing price reductions once the government's deadline expires. Meanwhile, traders at the Kaswandari market have shared their reactions to the moratorium requiring them to lower prices.
I don't know how the government will go about it. I don't know how it will happen, because you cannot go and buy your goods with your own personal money and come back to your shop to sell it, and the government will say sell it this amount. Because we are buying goods from the manufacturers, and the manufacturers are the ones selling for us at their own amount. So we can't say it will happen.
Some traders say they are not responsible of the hike in prices of commodities in the market.
Issue of the price that people are complaining, that's the traders that's making the price to shoot up, or the retailers, because I see it in most of the newspapers as of yesterday. But I want to be clear that the fault is not from the wholesalers or the retailers. The main problem, I can say, we the retailers, we are even selling cheaper than the companies.
As of today, many people are buying things at higher price. So how can you expect them to sell it lower than the price they bought it? So it cannot be possible. The only option is for government to review their policy and checkmate it very well and see where is the problem, from where the problem is coming.
We are not the one that inputting the price. We are buying this car from company. All this car we sell, we buy them, we sell them. And then before we fix the price, till we see the price of the company, till we put our price.
The traders, however, said for the price to go down, government must take proactive measures to turn the economy around.
So the only thing I can advise the government is to go back to drawing board and see how they can assist through the manufacturers, because they can go to industry now and discuss with the manufacturers, explain things for them. They can do something. I know they can do something, but the government have to insert some money or some incentives to them so that they can be able to do that. We are talking about tax. The government can remove some taxes for them. If they remove taxes for them, at least with that tax, they can be able to subsidize their goods.
Instead of government to come to the markets and harass marketers to reduce the price of their goods, I think it will be better to review their policy, most especially in tariff plan and all these exchange rates and so on, because that's the only thing that will make the goods to go down, the price of the goods to go down.
Although the government assures Nigerians that things will improve, the public remains eager to see when goods and services will finally become affordable for the masses. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Concerned by the escalating insecurity in Benue State, stakeholders are raising alarms over the surge in petty crimes, particularly the theft of farm produce in rural areas. Once rare in the state, these incidents are now becoming disturbingly common, driven by the displacement of farming communities by herders over the past decade and the current cost of living crisis. In response, stakeholders are urging the youth to seize the abundant opportunities in agriculture as a viable path to earning a living and steering clear of criminal activities. Trust TV's Jimmy Atzande brings details.
Recently, a surge in farm thefts by criminal elements has been reported across the state. Many attribute this to the years-long conflict between farmers and herders, which has displaced over 1 million farmers, stripping them of their livelihoods.
Before now, the past administration for the past 40 years or so, nobody was farming, and therefore many youths decided to indulge into criminal activities. But with the present situation now that we have gone back home to farm, we are believing and trusting God that next farming season the criminal activities will reduce. I will advise them to embark into farming. Therefore, they can earn a living better than committing criminal activities.
Other security stakeholders point to the removal of subsidy as a key factor behind the emerging trend, as it has inflicted severe hardships on the Nigerian populace.
Everything that has to do with the economy has gone down. Cost of living, food, medicine, has attributed a lot of things attributed to crimes being mentioned. You see, the economy has no value. Our naira has no value. It has been devalued, and therefore, whatever you have is not enough for you to take care of yourself. So government should either bring back the subsidy or repair the 4 refineries so that we could refine fuel in our country and reduce the cost.
Additionally, some argue that the growing number of unemployed youths is fueling frustration among the population, though they stress that turning to crime is not the answer.
First and foremost, lack of employment. Lack of employment in the sense that the youths are many. Every year, there are graduates from various universities are many. There are migration, that is, people move from villages to town. And the food available is not commensurate to the number of people who have government to find a solution for people to go back to their various homes and continue their farming.
The respondents contended that the responsibility of ensuring security cannot be solely with the security agencies. They emphasized that both the government and the local communities must play vital roles in combating criminality. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Nasarawa State Police Command has arrested a suspected drug trafficker en route from Edo State, recovering a substantial amount of Indian hemp. Acting on a tip-off, officers intercepted a Toyota Camry at Gadabuke in Toto local government area, suspected of carrying criminals. The operation led to the arrest of 43-year-old Saturday Gabriel, while another suspect managed to escape. The police recovered 15 bags of dry leaves suspected to be Indian hemp from the vehicle. The Commissioner of Police, Umar Shehu Nadada, has ordered the case to be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation before handing it over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency for prosecution. And also, the NDLEA has seized illicit drugs valued at 17.9 billion naira during major operations in Lagos and Rivers states. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi announced the seizure in a statement on Sunday. The haul intercepted at the One and Tinkan seaports includes 31,124,600 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams and bottles of codeine-based syrup. Additionally, former beauty queen Aderinye Queen Christmas, also known as Queen Oluwadamilola Aderinye, has turned herself in to the NDLEA Lagos Command after evading arrest for about 8 months. Aderinye was declared wanted in January following a raid on her Lekki, Lagos residence. She had reportedly been hiding in Akure, Ondo State since the raid, but surrendered to the agency on August 28. Also, the Oyo-Osun Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has made its biggest recent seizure of cannabis sativa. Customs Area Controller Ben Oramalugo announced the interception during a briefing in Ibadan, highlighting the command's ongoing successes. Here's the report.
The cannabis, which I'm going to show.
In the area of revenue generation, the command says despite the prevailing economic challenges, it had been able to shore up its revenue base through enhanced monitoring and effective collaboration with critical stakeholders.
Oyo Area Command achieved remarkable success in its revenue collection. For the month of June and July 2024, the command collected a total revenue of 13,311,191,473 naira 12 kobo.
Intensified efforts in its anti-smuggling campaign is yielding the desired results with the display of these carefully packed items suspected to be cannabis sativa. This seizure is perhaps the largest drug haul with a duty-paid value of over 148 million naira, and the customs leadership is handing over the items to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
Drug is a dangerous thing in Nigeria. It's spoiling our youth. It's spoiling our future generations. And I want to use this opportunity to tell smugglers of this drug in Oyo-Osun that Oyo-Osun is not a fertile ground for this kind of business.
We make sure that these things continue to happen. The synergy between, we are all working in one agency. We are all working in one fit, so that these things will not happen again. The drug war, every crime in this country or in anywhere starts from drug taking. So we make sure by God grace and by the spirit of the Almighty Allah or God per se, this seizure that we made today is a massive one. We appreciate what they did, and it will continue like that.
Other commodities seized include 758 kegs of premium motor spirit with a duty-paid value of 27 million naira, foreign parboiled rice, used clothing, used tires and other items which the federal government has placed a ban on.
The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has ordered an immediate investigation into the poor feeding conditions at the Afokan Custodial Center in Calabar. This follows a disturbing video report on Facebook showing inmates being served poorly cooked beans for breakfast. Minister Tunji-Ojo has taken serious exception to the report and emphasized that any lapses in the care, food quality, and welfare of inmates will not be tolerated. A comprehensive investigation will be conducted and those responsible will be held accountable, the minister said. The findings of the investigation will then be made public. You're still watching the News Hour on Trust Television. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is the News Hour on Trust Television. We now continue the bulletin with stories outside the shores of Nigeria. Families of hostages have called for a nationwide general strike starting Sunday night to pressure the Israeli government into securing the release of captives held in Gaza. This demand follows the discovery of 6 hostages' bodies in a tunnel in Rafah, which was fueled widespread anger and frustration. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum is urging the public to join large-scale demonstrations and halt the country's activities until a deal is reached. They have called for protest in the Tel Aviv and are asking the powerful Histadrut Union to support the strike. Opposition leader Yair Lapid has also endorsed the strike, criticizing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet for not securing the hostages' release. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has called for the reversal of a decision to keep Israeli forces stationed along the Philadelphia corridor, a contentious issue in the ceasefire negotiations. He urged the cabinet to act immediately to address this matter and prioritize the return of the remaining hostages. At least 30 people have lost their lives in northeast Sudan after the collapse of a dam due to severe flooding. According to the United Nations Humanitarian Office, residents report that many more are stranded as main roads remain blocked. The war-torn nation has faced relentless downpours since last month, with torrential flooding primarily affecting the northern and eastern regions. The collapse of the Abba Dam near Port Sudan a week ago has wreaked further havoc on the area. UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed described the situation as one of the worst humanitarian disasters exacerbated by the ongoing civil war.
We are no longer in danger, but our relatives and friends are stuck and surrounded by floodwater.
Rescue operations have been mostly individual. We were surprised to see only small machines working on the road.
We have impending crisis around famine. We are not getting medical supplies in, where there are health crises. But more importantly, we have to remember the suffering of the people, and here to do this with the government of Sudan.
And in sports, African record holder Miriam Eniola Bolaji continues to shine at the Paris 2024 Paralympics, securing a semi-finals spot with a commanding performance. On Sunday morning, Bolaji defeated India's Mandeep Kaur in straight sets 21-8 and 21-9 to advance to the next round. As the tournament's number 3 seed, Bolaji has already made history as the first African to reach the quarterfinals in Paralympic badminton. She had previously triumphed over Mandeep 21-8, 21-14 in the group stage. And in Kano, one of Nigeria's most populous states, the lack of regular sports competition has long been a challenge for the youth. However, over the next 3 months, 16 community basketball teams from across the state will be competing in a tournament that organizers hope will not only develop the sport but also have a profound impact on the lives of young people. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports that this initiative is bringing a new wave of hope and opportunity to the youth, providing them with a platform to hone their skills and showcase their talents.
For many of these young players, this tournament is more than just a chance to showcase their skills. It's an opportunity to engage in regular competitive play, something that has been sorely lacking in Kano State. This event is not only about developing their talents, but also about providing a much-needed platform for consistent sports engagement, which has been missing for years.
We just practice, go back home, come back for practice. Sometimes, man, we will have some challenges. Some people will say I don't have transport no more. Some say I've been practicing, no league, nothing to showcase my practice. I've been practicing, no league to showcase my talents. So it's angry sometimes. But if you can be having this subsequent game like this tournament, serious, it's going to be okay.
In the final game for the month of August, NTM Thunder faced off against Sparky Warriors in a thrilling match that kept spectators on the edge of their seats. Both teams showcased exceptional skill and determination, making it a memorable conclusion to the month's competition. This game not only highlighted the growing talent in Kano's community basketball scene, but also emphasized the importance of regular competitive play in fostering sportsmanship and unity among the youth.
Having this kind of game every ending of months, especially mostly Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at least it will bring out the community, especially now guys, the hardship and every other thing, bringing out this competition, setting up prize, at least to ginger community people.
Kano State Basketball Association established hot-cold basketball competition, which they believe that through consistent competitions like this, the sport can thrive and young people can find a positive outlet for their energy.
The Kano City League are organized here in the state. Like 4 players from that city league are currently on the roster of Kano Pillars state team, so which is very good for them. If not for the city league, the Kano Pillars management will have been able to see those players. But thank God we have a program running annually. It was a big opportunity for them to get signed because it's the first time the Pillars management are looking downwards to grassroots basketball and picking players from them onto their roster.
The coach of the Kano State basketball team, Scott Inaji, is also optimistic about the long-term impact of this initiative. He sees this as a crucial step in developing local talent that could one day represent the state and even the country at higher levels.
Well, that is one of the reasons why they also brought me here, to help build the awareness of the game and bring the culture of basketball back here. And this is a good development that you see there are so many lovers of the game, but they have not been seeing this for a while. And if this continues like this, we are sure going to bring that glory back to Kano.
As the tournament progresses, it's clear that this effort is more than just about basketball. It's about providing hope, fostering community spirit, and creating a pathway for young people to aspire to greater heights. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
And it's on this note that we wrap up the news hour tonight on Trust Television. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. On behalf of the technical crew, have a good night.